notification box up. I can barely type 'cause it's in the way. Nutrition and habits. Oops. There we go. Tired. Demi punched me in the face last night. That's my toddler. Because she wanted me to get up in the middle of the night and get her some milk, and I said no. So she whack, and then kept doing it until I got up. So that was hard not to be rageful. Other than that, I slept better than I did previous night when I was on my own. Oops, that's a bit too fast. 4.5 first thing. Omnia. So my lightest I am this year, just now. Let me just make that so it's got my coffee. So I'm ruining the illusion that I'm. So I just need to mark that down. My eyes are blurry because apparently yesterday I had 2 contact lenses in one eye all day. It's still not adjusted. Right, so what's my weight? 72.6. So it's like an eighth of a pound lower than yesterday, something like that. Something ridiculous like that. I had chicken fajitas last night, it was lovely. So I'm on 72.6. So it's dropping. Shows you I've not got any inflammation just now. It's a long way to go from the target. Good morning. Hi Andrew. I've only just gone live myself. How are you? Tired. I was just saying I'm the lightest I've been this year. Let's comment on some food diaries. Hope we're doing well. My eye is so blurry. It must be a bit swollen. I'm in 2 minds whether to leave my contact lenses out today, just to give them a break. I never ever have issues with my contact lenses, but I think I might do that. My body's tired. I was going to train abs this morning, but I think I'll do it in the afternoon. I may regret it with the kids, but right. So her calories haven't synced yet. I think she's away now with work. Good morning, guys. Welcome to my live. How's your day going so far? Good. I was just saying that my toddler had me wake up in the middle of the night for some milk. I was like, absolutely not, I'm not getting your milk. She's like, bang, like aiming for my face. Punched me in the face, or slapped me in the face a couple of times until I got up. And then she followed me screaming, I'm scared, I'm scared. So I'm here. So that was fun. I think that must have been about 3 a.m. So I think I got good sleep from about 9 till 3, something like that. She was a bit restless last night though. But today I've got 2 clients back to back after I dropped the kids off at the school. And then I wanted to record a bit of content. What day are we on? Friday. Happy Friday! Morning guys, I'm answering any questions on exercise, nutrition, back pain and rehab. So I myself, I'm going into a calorie deficit now after building muscle for the last 6 months or so. You can still build muscle and lose fat at the same time, by the way. It's especially easier if you're a newbie. Every diet should be having you do that. She's not tracking. It's a lot harder for people to track the calories I find on Ozempic because they think, oh, well, I'm in a calorie deficit anyway because I barely want to eat. But they're looking at it all wrong. They should be tracking even more to reduce the risk of nutrient deficiencies. She got 13,000 steps. That's great yesterday. I had a client yesterday who I see quite often, and she came to me. She was very tired, very stiff, very stressed. So instead of doing the session that I had planned, we did a lot of mobility drills and stretches and postural drills to help open up her chest, have her stand more tall. We did some deep breath work as well to manage her nervous system. It gave back to her body, so hopefully today she's more up for a session. The session I had planned was yesterday. Hip flexors were tight, her glutes were tight, SI joint was stiff, lower back was stiff, and she had a lot of tension up in the neck, so we did a lot of work there. Well, she'd seen the physio the day before. Sometimes she's tired after dry needling and stuff. But anyway, she got good steps, good calories. Protein wasn't as good. She had protein porridge, protein shake for breakfast. And for lunch, I had another protein shake. So that's 3 highly processed foods. Sourdough, fried egg. Dinner, oat milk, cereal for dinner. It's not good. Yeah, I'm going to say, although protein, like on paper, a protein and calories are fine, the nutrition's not there, so end up becoming deficient. The fiber's low as well, under 10 grams. Should be aiming for about 40 to 50 grams of fiber a day, but you can't go straight to that. I'm just commenting on clients' food diaries just now. If you've got any questions, comment. Good steps yesterday. I feel like yesterday she was looking for comfort in the food. Let's get more whole foods today. See you soon. Valentine's Day next week. I tell you, February is a nightmare for me. It's Valentine's Day. It's my daughter's third birthday. It's my anniversary. It's my mum's birthday, my dad's birthday, and my sister's birthday, all in the same month. And then in early March, end of March, it's Mother's Day, but that's fine. It's a bit away. So I need to make sure I write it all down. But a lot of them, like my dad and my sister, just need cards. Get the children to draw in them. Send a few pictures sorted. Mum wants to go out for lunch. And I'm going out for Valentine's Day. We're spending 2 nights away with the little Klingon. 8,000. Right, so she got 800 steps. That was on the 3rd of Feb. I don't know what's going on with this one. She's gone AWOL. Remember, if you've got a coach and you're not checking in, you're not asking for help, you're not tracking your food, you're not using the app, can't really help you. And that sometimes happens because people are so busy and they fall off track and like, it's fine, I'll get back on whatever date they've got in their head, but then they're doing that every week. You need to stop thinking, I'm on it, I'm off it, and on it, I'm off it, and just have non-negotiables. Morning, guys. I was a bit gutted the other day with my yoga class. I recorded a full yoga class. It was about 40 minutes long. Lovely, like deep stress release yoga with alternate nostril breath, which is your pranayama, is your breath work from yoga that helps relax your nervous system. And my phone ran out of memory and stopped recording after the last couple of stretches, which is annoying. So I'm going to get into the habit, I think, of recording either yoga or Pilates, probably a mix of both. A couple of times a week when I'm in my evening. It's accountability for me to do more yoga and stretching before bed. my posture videos doing well. Sciatica. Might have to do more content on getting rid of sciatica because those videos are doing well. Hi Liv, how are you? 1 second. I can barely see this morning because I had contact lens in, 2 contact lenses in that eye and 1 in that eye all day yesterday. Not on purpose, by the way. So like it's really like fuzzy this morning. Right, so find long-term commitments and goals, not random, every week. So hard to know when you find the right match. Yeah, you need to be clear on what you want to achieve, whether it's fat loss or building muscle or both. It might be training for an event. Then you need to, once you've like got, I want to lose this amount of pounds or look a certain way, then you need to start thinking, right, this person who looks like this, what kind of habits would they have? Well, they probably prioritise sleep for one, not go out every weekend. They'd probably be tracking the food, eating mostly whole foods, right? Mostly, I said, not all the time. But if you can, it can help having a goal in mind. Like, I don't normally have a goal. I normally do it, I work well with like less pressure because I've got the kids. So I like right now, I have got a goal of doing a photo shoot this year. But like for content and a keepsake for me and gets out of my comfort zone a little bit for around April, May time. But it can add a lot of pressure and can go the other way, you know, if you feel like you've got to do it. But if you can find enjoyment in how you feel after your sessions or after your like full day of eating, not going to bed full, and going to bed a little bit hungry. The saying goes, wake up determined, go to bed satisfied. And every day this week I've done that. I could have definitely ate more. Some days, like out of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right, we've not had Friday yet. And I probably won't go to bed that hungry tonight because I'll be having apple pie after my dinner. But the rest of the week, I'll be going to bed hungry. And see, when you wake up in the morning, knowing that you're a big step towards your goal because of that decision, staying in discomfort and not satisfying your needs, it's really rewarding. Definitely cracked it. Which part? I'm in Scotland. I'm not from Liverpool. Do I sound Liverpudlian? I've got a bit of an accent. Someone asked me yesterday, actually, I was in the coffee shop, and some Scottish woman, she got me with her accent. I've been here 15 years. And I said, can I have a coffee? She says, sorry, a latte. I was still half asleep. She says, yeah, sure. Would you like setup? I said, sorry, what? Would you like setup? It sounded like she said set up. I says, and someone else says, she says, do you want syrup? Oh, I was like, sorry, your accent got me. I've only been here 15 years. She was like, come on. There wasn't even a queue behind me, but you know when you want to, like, come on. He says, are you from Liverpool originally? I says, no, near Manchester, Rochdale. So, all right, sorry. like it was an insult. But yesterday he thought I was from Liverpool. Liverpool! Can't get the accent. I never used to be able to. Sometimes some of the stuff my boyfriend says, it's very like broad. Like, what would you say? And you know what, when we started dating, I don't know if it was a nervous thing, but it was constantly be saying, I'm going to go to the shop and get some messages. That's going to the shop for shopping. Going for some messages to say up here. Watch Still Game, it's brilliant. It's a comedy on Netflix, Still Game. 2 old men, well, they're actually young men dressed up as old men. And it just shows you what Scottish folk are like. I like that Glaswegian accent, it's funny. But my partner sounds more Edinburgh, Stirling way. But if you go higher up in Aberdeen and Inverness, no, not even Scottish people can understand what they say up there. Morning guys, welcome to my live. I'm a certified fat loss trainer, coach, Pilates and yoga teacher, specialise in nutrition, back pain, rehab. So if you've got any questions, fire them over. See if I can help you. I'm also a mindset coach as well, so anyone who's trying to lose fat and keeps stopping and starting over and over again and getting fed up, it's not the diet, it's usually the mindset, and it requires a little bit of work to change that mindset. Oh, thank you so much, Liv, I really appreciate that. You should just join my membership and you get access to all them videos. But it sounds like you know quite a bit anyway. Is there anything that I can help you with that you're struggling with? Can't see what you said there. Imagine sending her everything for a long term. What do you mean? Live local, appreciate that. So you can join my membership for just $2.99. You get access to member-only videos teaching about nutrition, exercise, mindset coaching, habit coaching. So you can make the lifestyle change to last you the rest of your life. So it's like a lifelong skill, so it's an investment. So that's if you have an exercise program, you know what you're kind of doing nutrition, like you've got your calories worked out, but you're still not sticking to it, and you know that you need to learn more about exercise and mindset and nutrition habits. Don't make fat loss as hard as possible to achieve. Have it happening in the background of your busy life. That's what I teach. That's what all my clients teach. So there's a lot of Q&As on there. There's also consistency guides, hunger guides, how to deadlift properly, like correct form, like tips like that. There's lots so far to do with bringing your body back after babies. So if you know someone who is struggling, we get told a lot, yes, on this channel, we get told a lot as females, when you're going through menopause or perimenopausal, you're fucked basically. You can't build muscle, you can't lose fat, cortisol's the enemy. Because of that, cortisol and estrogen being erratic, you're going to struggle. Remember, the people who are saying this, and accountants and doctors as well, sold out. They're trying to sell you a supplement. To spot if it's a scam, be clear on what levels of estrogen and cortisol they're talking about, what hormones they're talking about. And because a lot of them won't even know them. Can't be. Oh, thank you so much, Liv. Oh, you're very generous. Thank you. Yeah, a lot of these marketing scams, like collagen, is out a lot at the moment. People don't like to believe that Davina McCall's a massive liar. She might believe in the fact that collagen helps with hair, skin, and nails. It's not so much like, so collagen is another protein. You're much better and cheaper to just have protein powder. People have died from taking, like, replacing collagen with complete protein, like eggs, fish, and stuff, and just by having collagen. So the way that collagen doesn't go directly to skin and nails is because it gets broken down to an amino acids. No, baby, you're not having chocolate for breakfast. Where's Ari? Is she in bed? Let me give her a cuddle. No. Yes. No. Yes. No. Yeah. No. Yeah. No. Morning, guys. Welcome to my live. I'd love a like and subscribe if you're wanting fitness education and motivation. Thank you so much for the donations. I really appreciate that. Buy myself a coffee. I'm here to add value to your life, make it a lot easier and less confusing to achieve fat loss, and I help you apply the knowledge into your lifestyle. There's a lot of like these quick fixes, these diets that don't teach you about education, like Slimming World, Weight Watchers is bust, but and you've got Juice Plus and Herbalife and all of them MLM schemes. They tell you what to do without any education and no weight on exercises. Well, I've actually heard that representatives of Slimming World poo-poo exercise. Oh, you don't need to exercise. If you're just losing fat and you're not strength training, you're going to be losing fat and muscle, and that's a big problem because you're lowering your metabolic rate, so your metabolism. Muscle is life. It keeps you mobile for longer. It reduces every risk of disease. It keeps you strong, reduces injury risk, and supports your structure of the skeleton. It keeps you healthy. So anyone that's, when I'm talking about exercise, I'm not talking about running, or I'm talking about strength training. There's loads of ways you can get into strength training. One of the easiest, I would say, is to join up to a gym and just going around all the resistance machines. I've got diagrams on the side. But as I was saying about the marketing scams that there is on the internet about hormones and insulin, and the best thing you can do for your body to balance your hormones is lose any excess fat. And if you are concerned about your hormones, testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, you should go and see a doctor to get them checked. Not trust Dr. What's it from TikTok telling you you can't lose fat because your hormones are unbalanced. Another thing to mention as well is cortisol. There's a lot of hate on cortisol. Cortisol is a good thing. For you to give a shit on a daily basis, for you to get up out of bed, you need a spike of cortisol. When it's chronically high levels of cortisol, it's a problem, because how you deal with that, some people use alcohol, drugs, overeating to rebalance, like to regulate the nervous system when they get super stressed. Some use yoga, breath work, those are the better habits. Warmth, heat, stretching, exercise, walks in nature are all really good ways to balance cortisol. But this whole thing with cortisol is stopping you lose fat and is storing your body fat into visceral fat, which is the fat around your organs, is a lie. Estrogen determines where you store fat. So for women, lower levels of estrogen, you have more fat here. That's why when you go through menopause, estrogen levels drop, you'll accumulate more fat here, right? It's just changed from being on your thighs, your ass, your arms, your face, maybe. The most stressed population in the world is those that are starving in Africa. The children and the adults that are starving without any food. They have got the highest levels of cortisol, and look how thin they are. There's no such thing as starvation mode. When we're talking, some coaches will still use the term starvation mode, but when we're talking about starvation mode, we're talking about the behaviours associated with being in high stressed environments. So if you're constantly stressed, and to counteract that and to cope with that, you're constantly getting the bottle of wine which has calories, or you're constantly overeating on food, not moving, you're just like cozying up with a bottle of wine and Netflix, you're going to gain weight. But cortisol itself will not have you gain body fat if the fat isn't there to store. There's no magic behind it, and that's really important to learn. It's like when a doctor will say to you, take this pill, antidepressant, contraceptive pill, whatever it is. If you take this pill though, just so you know, you might gain weight. It sounds like there's some sorcery going on. Like, oh my God, this pill's going to make me gain weight. No, no, no. You need to move less and eat more for you to gain weight. The mechanics of fat loss and fat gain will always stay the same. You need to accept the truth. I had a woman say to me years ago, I'll never forget it. I was mid-20s at the time. I'd only been a PT for about 2 or 3 years or something. She said to me, she was like built like a brick shithouse. She came up to me and said, I'm looking for a personal trainer to build muscle. I can't lose fat. This is how I am. My body is designed to be in this state of carrying this excess body fat. I was like, okay. But like some people will defend it because you've been brought up to think that fat loss is really complicated, and if you get too stressed. Now, people ask me about visceral fat, the dangerous fat around your organs, your liver fat, kidneys, and in between. A few things to say about that. If you're not sure if you've got visceral fat, it's these men with a pot bellies. That visceral fat is quite hard. Subcutaneous fat, the safer fat, is the jiggly stuff. So if you're not sure, now you can have both, obviously. They both work with calorie deficit. Now, there's been studies done on people who have been in a calorie deficit to lose fat just through the food, and those that are in a calorie deficit through food and exercise. Now, the group that were in a calorie deficit and exercising lost more visceral fat and subcutaneous fat than those that just watched what they ate. So again, mechanics still the same, but you hear a lot of confusion with visceral fat, how you need to be doing HIIT cardio to get, like, reduce it. It'll come off everywhere. No BIA machine, bioelectrical impediments machine. Anyway, any of those machines, they're not accurate, but you can get inaccurate readings for a long time, which gives you a bit of a picture of what's going on if you're trending down. If that makes sense. But I hope that helps, because I get a lot of questions on visceral fat. So there's 2 types of fat for anyone watching. Subcutaneous fat, which is the jiggly stuff that you can see, which isn't harmful to disease. And then you get visceral fat, which is hard, and it's like your pot belly, usually accumulates around your organs. What was I going to say? But yeah, any extra weight around the midsection, your insulin's got to work 6 times harder to regulate your blood sugars. So the less you have around the midsection, the better. And if you want to see abs, you can't focus on seeing abs because it would get so boring. You need to get addicted to the process and how good you feel after exercise. How good you feel after a full day of staying on track with your food. Yesterday, right, food is starting to taste so awesome, just the simple things, right? I had yesterday protein porridge, and I broke up half a bar of dark chocolate, 85% dark chocolate. So that's good fibre amount of magnesium, and it melted into my porridge, and it was so thick and gooey, and oh, that's my new favourite thing. So actually, instead of having my apple pie tonight after my dinner, because we're going to have a steak tonight, I think I might have protein porridge with dark chocolate. I'm starting to enjoy healthier foods. So that's giving me fibre, protein obviously, magnesium from the dark chocolate. There's something else as well, selenium. Versus apple pie, that gives you nothing. So it doesn't give you any vitamin C because it's been broken down. So quite live this morning. Appreciate you guys being here. And thanks for the likes so far and the donations. I'm answering any questions on exercise, nutrition, back pain, rehab. But yeah, there's not much more to say about visceral fat. You know, some of these doctors and accounts on Instagram, YouTube, you don't actually see it. Well, I don't see it on my YouTube that much. So it's usually TikTok and Instagram. You see doctors selling a supplement. But if they've got millions of followers, think, why? Be curious. Because usually, if they've gone viral, it's usually not for a good thing. The smaller accounts, like mine, but no, there's other smaller accounts of like 100,000 or less that have been posting for years. And because they're not like selling quick fixes, and because one of the reasons why I became a personal trainer in the first place, I remember when I was level 2 gym instructor, before I was even a PT, because that's the first qualification you've got to get. I'm thinking, finally, I'm going to learn the truth about fat loss, because I was reading all these women's magazines. I was in this job, right, and it was so quiet at the shop. It was a sunbed salon. There was nothing else to do. And a co-worker, she'd been there already like 10 years or something. She was bringing those women magazines, and they were always talking about, I lost fat doing this, I lost all my weight doing this. And I remember thinking, wow, what is the truth with fat loss? This isn't why I became a personal trainer, but one of the big reasons why, because I decided I wanted to be a personal trainer when I was in my teens, way before this job in my early 20s. I was like 20 when I got it, but anyway, I digress. I remember studying all about exercise and that, thinking I'm still waiting for that magic moment where it says this is how you lose fat, and it never came. And I qualified as a personal trainer, and still the secret to fat loss still didn't come. And I was like 5 years into being a trainer. I'm 12 now. It's 5 years into being a personal trainer, and I still didn't know how to get my clients to lose fat. After being through qualifications of these things, this nature, so then I did a nutrition course. And it spoke about a little bit about calorie deficit, but it wasn't really, they were talking more keto. Now everybody should be low fat, high fat, low carb, high protein. And they did have some good education on that course. It was like 50 units. It should have been $5,000. I got it for a deal. It was like Advanced Clinical Weight Loss Practitioner. That's what the course name was. And I still couldn't get clients to stick to the calories that I that I prescribed. So then, after my own research, and then I was qualifying in yoga and Pilates alongside, and back pain and my university degree. And then no one was saying, like, there was no definitive answer how to lose fat. Until I started to do my own research with other coaches that were super fantastic, can't emphasize that enough, at teaching how to achieve fat and what the secret is for fat loss. And it's not just in one episode. It was you've got to constantly listen to this stuff, because you've got to reprogram yourself as a coach as well. That there is not one diet for everybody, right? Sometimes you'll go into fasting, sometimes you'll do keto, sometimes you'll have higher carb around Christmas, sometimes you won't be trying to lose fat, sometimes you'll be trying to build muscle. I should do a podcast on this, because it's a really good topic. So that was one thing. Then I obviously learned if you move more and you eat less, you lose fat. But if you move too much and you eat too less, the adherence is shocking. You can't stick to it. So then you're stopping and starting every 5 minutes. You never really get anywhere with your fat loss. You're breaking down your confidence, your self-efficacy, your belief, your worth. And you think that, there's something wrong with my body. I can't achieve fat loss sustainably. When in reality, You're overcomplicating fat loss. A lot of people, it's in our nature to go from 0 to 100 when we've got motivation behind us. But if you can set targets of like being non-negotiable targets, like, and lower the bar as well so you can be consistent. Like I must get 10,000 steps as a minimum every single day. I must train at least 4 times a week. Now this is coming from someone who's been training a while. These are my non-negotiables. On a good day, my calories will be no more than 2,300. Now on a good day, my calories will be on 2,000. My steps will be at 15,000 and I'll have trained. But I know the next day I'm going to be even hungrier because those two yesterday were aligned. Good morning, Lazar, how are you? So when you learn that fat loss is more psychological, and people will say, I'm bored of eating this way, I'm bored of my program, I'm bored of getting steps. Stop looking for entertainment in these things. Have a hobby. Find enjoyment in exercise, trying to get your personal best, trying to get stronger, watching that process. Find entertainment getting steps, going outside with nature. Entertainment in food. Like enjoying the process of food. You enjoy the meals that, if Monday to Friday you're in a bit of a meal plan and then Saturday you have like a takeaway and it's accounted for within your calories, you enjoy it a lot more. And studies have shown this as well. If we have chocolate a little bit every single day versus waiting till the weekend to have the same amount of chocolate or a bigger amount, we enjoy it a lot more. When you're comforting yourself all the time, you're reducing your satisfaction. So that's why yesterday when I had my protein porridge with a bit of dark chocolate broken into it, it was incredible. It was so thick and dense and gooey. Anyway, hey, I'm super fine. Did a workout for my chest and back yesterday after 10. Well done. Are you sore this morning after 10 days off? That's fantastic. Are you tracking your workouts as well? Just making sure. What I'll say to people coming back after a break, don't compare yourself to last time. Now, 10 days off, as long as you kept your protein high and you were still walking about, you wouldn't have lost that much muscle or strength. Don't get me wrong, the first session psychologically may have been hard. So I hope you just went in for fearless sets and you just enjoyed the gym. But I don't know why you were off for 10 days. Some people take, I've heard recently, a month off the gym every now and then to mix things up. I think that's bizarre. There's no research for that, but I'm sure that's not the reason why you've done it. But just on a side note there. For those people that are coming back after having a break from the gym, don't compare yourself to when you're in a routine and the stars were aligned, as we say. Compare yourself like this is your new base. And you're not starting from scratch. You'll get your gains back and you'll feel more yourself within like a week or so. But it's really common to try and play catch up. If you've been ill or you've been on holiday and then you've fallen off the wagon, see it as like you've got confidence to know, yeah, I have been consistent in the past. I know what works. I've been through a bit of trial and error. I know fasting till 11 works well for me because I need more energy later on in the day. Work with yourself and your lifestyle. Yeah, if you've been ill, don't play catch up, otherwise you can prolong your illness and zap your energy and you can end up feeling dreadful. Feels good to get steps in. So I was getting a bit of plantar fasciitis. It's from an injury last August. I was jumping around doing HIIT training a few times without shoes on, and then it wasn't like a definitive moment where it just went, but it was just like tender and discomfort in my arch and a tingle. And then I was doing lots of stretches, and then I realised doing more calf stretches took the pain away and eventually fixed it. And then the other day I was like last week, was walking for an hour barefoot on the treadmill. Not a good idea. But I've been stretching again because I know from trial and error that seems to work really well. And it seems to have gone, so I'm just going to keep up with that. So I think it's years from doing a year of doing HIIT training and jumping. Calves are super tight, pulling on my plantar fascia, and then it's causing it to like be irritated and inflamed. I spotted it in the gym. Girls like to repeat exercises for glute, like hip thrust 2, sometimes 3 times a week. If you're wanting to build a muscle group, you should be hitting it 2 to 3 times a week. And you've got 3 glute muscles. One of them wraps around your pelvis for stability. People often forget about this one, glute medius, and they just work glute max. But hip thrusts, they hurt. And like the machine setup and all that, I'm not a fan of it. It's a really uncomfortable position. I prefer bridge pulses. But that might feel different. Like, I've not done them, tried them in ages. Never been a fan of them because of the setup. I think there's better exercise as well. The best exercises for building the glutes are like lunge variations, studies show. Does it play an important role to women because of pregnancy? Yes. So what I see, every woman I work with, by the way, who's been through pregnancy has some sort of issue in the pelvis because they've passed a baby through it, or they've supported a pelvis with the pelvic floor. And how your pelvis functions, like your glutes, your hip flexors, your QL that's attached to your hips, like your pelvis, all the muscles surrounding your pelvis play an important role in stability because your pelvis is the foundation of the building. So if there's anything out of whack, it affects the rest of the body. But also internally, your pelvic floor, this is men as well. If you've got no glutes, or your glutes are switched on a lot of guys don't notice. Guys, no offense, are really bad for awareness of what the body's doing. Like, I'll just see like a guy that stood in the line and he'll be squeezing his glutes. Why? It's usually an insight that there's some sort of dysfunction in the pelvic floor in men as well. But anyway, when you're pregnant, you'll lose your glutes. You rebuild them back afterwards, but you get a bit of an anterior pelvic tilt which switches your glutes off to support the baby. So your glute health, hip flexor health, lower back health is an insight into how your pelvic floor is functioning. Good morning from Scotland, welcome back. And if you're somebody who gets deep gluteal pain, sciatica, can be from the pelvic floor again. See how many steps I've got this morning. Doing another 10 minutes. So I've got 4,200. Busy morning this morning. How are we doing, guys? But if anyone's in pain with the back, the shoulders, the elbows, know that you don't have to live like that. And there is exercises you can find that will help ease the pain, take it away, fix a problem. But see, if or when, shall I say, you get an injury, see it as a learning curve. Okay, I've got a big imbalance here and it's finally gone. What can I do to help? First, bring relief. The muscles are going to tighten up around that area to protect the pain and the body. Like your pain is an alarm system. So if you can learn about that and listen to the feedback your body gives you. For example, my plantar fasciitis is gone because I was doing multiple calf stretches during the day after I'd got my steps in. Like after here I'll do some, and my feedback from my body was telling me, because I was getting less pain or discomfort in my arch, that was working. So I rinse and repeat that. People just ignore the alarm system, the pain, until it gets worse and worse. I know somebody who was in a wheelchair with sciatica. I think it stems from an accident that she had. It was through COVID, so there's definitely negligence there from this person. You know, she was having physio appointments over the phone during COVID. she's been told now by a physio, if they'd have seen her in person, they could have fixed it. But now for the rest of her life, she's going to be in pain. What is it? Nappy? Have you weed? Okay, 2 secs. Again. No touch. No touch, please. Demi. Oh, read that message. Leave my plant alone. Aye. Mummy changing nappy in 2 secs. No, Demi. Demi, fall. You bump your head. So it is important for men as well, yes. Some men think they don't have a pelvic floor I've worked with. They're shocked when I say, you've got a pelvic floor as well. What I see with men, they have too tight pelvic floor, which can, after you've peed, you'll dribble after immediately or a few minutes after when you do release. So taking note of if you can pass wee and poo, as crass as it is, easy. But I see you can have a too tight and a too weak pelvic floor at the same time, because it's just like any other muscle group. And she's going to knock that over, isn't she? And you can have upper or back passage tight and weak, and vice versa. So, no, touch that. I wanted to improve my stability and make the structure of the glutes look nice. Yeah, remember you've got 3 muscles. Work them in a variety of ways. Side plank clamshells with a lateral leg lift on that top leg. Excellent for targeting pelvic stability, because stability is for preventing unwanted movement in a joint. So that's your foundation, and then you build on top of that. Also, girls like to put an accent on it because it looks just attractive. Yeah. Hi, Nikki. Nick, how are you? Yeah. I see men have tight hip flexors as well. I've known men in the 30s to be peeing themselves a little bit after going to the toilet. It's and then they're dealing with back pain as well. And again, it's an insight into that pelvic floor and how it's functioning. Men can do Kegels as well, but there's a lot more exercises doing Kegels. Like, for example, when you're squatting a heavy load using the Valsalva maneuver, so holding breath. When you're holding breath and you're engaging your core, think about lifting up your pelvic floor. And how do you do this? You do this through, like when you really don't want to pee and you hold it up. That's how you're doing it. You should be able to differentiate between the front and the back passages. I hope that helps. So every time you lift, because that's not really spoken about when you're lifting heavy, you need to brace your core. But if you don't lift your pelvic floor as well, the pressure's going to go down. Hey! No. All right. Swage. Someone said to me on a live, probably this time last year, I've only ever had the comment once, why would you want, I think the comment in one of my videos about building the glutes, why would you want to build the glutes? It was a woman that said that. So I've rhymed off all these reasons: pelvic strength, pelvic stability, balance, coordination, reducing fall risk, proprioception, reducing back pain, pelvic floor health. She didn't reply. Like, why would you not? And if you want to get pregnant, or you want to be able to carry your kids, you need a stable pelvis. It's the foundation of the building. That's how I describe it. I never thought as a trainer I would use the word pelvis so much in my life. I say it every day. And it's true, the longer that you're in the game, if you're not sure what your niche will be, it'll find you. Turns out I'm really good at working with females in rehabilitation and working with injuries. I've got a guy with a bicep tendon tear just now, we're rehabilitating. We got it done it was last August. And we've been working and rehab for that. And that's common for men, by the way. So if you're getting any twinges and you're a guy in your elbow, it's a warning sign not to be ignored. Tendon usually is being loaded too much versus the muscle. Go lighter. Is it important for men? Can fix low back pain? Can be, if that's where your intra-abdominal pressure is coming out of. Right, so core, you know when you cough and sneeze and you every time, like say if you've got a full bladder and someone makes you laugh while you sneeze and you don't pee yourself, that's intra-abdominal pressure. So your core keeps that inside and it supports your back muscles. So it's not enough to have a strong core. So the canister, you can look at it as like a canister. So you've got your diaphragm that holds the upper part of the pressure. You've got the internal and external oblique. The TVA, which is your transverse abdominis muscle, the deepest core muscle that wraps around your stomach. And you've got your multifidus, you've got your back muscles. And underneath you've got your pelvic floor. Now they all need to be strong and work as a unit to keep that intra-abdominal pressure in. Now if intra-abdominal pressure, if there's a weak spot, pelvic floor, it can look like peeing yourself, or if you're female, painful when you have sex, you're not being able to go to the toilet when you want for ones or twos. You can get, as a man or a woman, you can get diastasis recti, which is if you've got a weak core, it's separation of the abdominal muscles. So that linea alba tendon gets stretched and your organs can poke through. It's another symptom. If the weakness is at the back, these are the common ones, you can get back pain. So the opposing muscle group to the back is the abs, but the deepest core muscle, the transverse abs, the TVA, boring core work tunes into this. So it's like a corset, it holds everything in and upright and wraps right around to your spine and here as well. If you're working that effectively, you should feel it engage around your back. So stuff like dead bugs, planks with like knee slides, all done very slowly and boring. I've done a full TVA workout before on YouTube, and the amount of comments I got, that's not doing anything, what are you working? It's like, the TVA exercises are as effective as you make them. The first time I ever worked my TVA, which it's a forgotten core muscle, people always want to work on the rectus abdominis and the obliques because they look good, go deeper, the foundation. The first time I worked my TVA, it was during my qualification for Pilates, and we did so much TVA work and my organs were aching. That's what it felt like. It was so deep. It was weird. Never had it since. It was like every time I breathed, I had an ache. It was the most weirdest thing. I can barely remember it. If you never worked it before. Back pain can be caused, it depends what's causing it. But usually, if you're making sure, I used to think I had a strong core, but I had parts of my core were strong, like my rectus abdominis. My internal and external obliques weren't really firing, and my TVA muscle wasn't coming to the party either. So I needed to dial it right back. So you can have a strong core, but only certain muscles, which can cause an imbalance and affect back pain. And back pain can be from a weak back as well. No, baby. Right, guys, it's 7 o'clock in the UK. I've done 5.5 thousand steps. I love yous and leave yous. Thank you so much for joining me, and thanks for the fantastic questions. So it's Saturday tomorrow. So if it's nice outside in the morning, I might go live outside, and that will be nice, and do a leg session. But thank you so much, and have a wonderful Friday.